Welcome to the Football Critters Podcast. I'm your host, the Otter, and with me are my two co-hosts,
The bear.
And the moose.
Moosey.
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 I love my Moosey.
I love some
An
Moosey.
original.
Whatever for us, trust me. But today we're going to go discuss the NFC West and the NFC North side of the free agency moves. So we'll go team by team within those divisions, and we'll discuss what we liked, what we didn't like, and give a little grade at the end. Maybe pick which team we thought within those divisions did the best. We'll start off with the NFC West on the Arizona Cardinals. So they made a lot of moves, and that is all my analysis is today. Let's move on to.
Wow.
No, I'm just kidding. So they lost Marquise Brown, Carlos Watkins, who I did kind of like, and then just picked up a bunch of O linemen, D linemen, linebackers. There's basically lots of low moves, cheap moves. Justin Jones, I thought was an interesting pickup. DJ Dallas was interesting too.
Yeah, I think this is another team that's like, I don't know the plan.
Yeah.
I guess Kyler Murray will be healthy the full year this year, but how much does that change your team from being as bad as they are?
I know. I mean, when he did come back, it was awesome. Like they did really well. Like they're well coached, you could tell. But that only takes you so far. I want to see them build the team a little bit more. I mean, their D line was not going to work for them this year or last year. So Justin Jones, Bilal Nichols. I mean, they're gonna have to step it up, especially with what they paid him.
Oh my God! They gave Jonah Williams $15 million a year. Yikes!
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Jonah Williams.
I wouldn't give him $15 million a year. I don't even think half of that is a good number. Ugh.
Yeah, I think he wanted to really play left tackle too, which doesn't make any sense to me because Paris Johnson's probably going to move back over there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he, gets to decide what position he plays based on the way he performs.
That is true.
So they got rid of Rondell Moore and Marquise Brown.
Oh yeah. I wonder what the first pick in the draft's going to be.
Yeah.
My guess is QB.
They're going to trade Kyler Murray away too. Sorry, Kyler, you're just too short.
Yeah.
It took us a few years to get a yardstick just to find that out.
What is Kyler's contract look like?
It's probably on his second year now of the extension. And I think it was like a 4-year extension, I believe.
It was? Okay.
Yeah. Let me just cross-reference myself. Sorry, it was a 5-year extension.
Oh.
That started in 2023. So this is the second year of that extension.
Okay.
How much is he making a year, did you say?
Oh, he's making a lot.
35 mil next year?
Yeah, 37 mil, I think, is the base salary. Because he got a 5-year, 230,000. Yeah, it's gonna be like an annual average of 46 a year. So they're just gonna move that cap around. So they're not moving off of him. No one's gonna trade for him. And I don't think they want to, because I think he played really well last year when he came back. Like that offense was really not good until he came back.
Yeah, I agree. There's just not a lot to talk about.
I just don't understand it. I really don't.
Yeah. I mean, it obviously looks like they're going to build through the draft, and they have tons of draft capital from last year trading around with the Texans.
Oh yeah, right.
So yeah, I think they're going to just build through the draft and then just kind of fill holes as much as they need. DJ Dallas, I'm surprised they signed when they still have James Conner and Amari DeMarcado. But I mean, DJ Dallas is a great third down back. They still have Michael with his picture. I love his picture so much. By the way, as soon as you mentioned it, yes, this is one of the most beautiful things.
Oh my God, I gotta check this
out. I'm glad I talked about it so you can find this little gem.
I was not expecting that.
That's the one they put on ESPN.
Really?
Yeah, or if he's on the broadcast, they'll show that picture up.
Jesus Christ.
Then they talk about it, like the color commenters love talking about that picture.
I forgot they got Michael Carter. was a good
Yeah.
pickup.
Oh yeah, I like Michael Carter a lot. He's one of my favorite players to watch.
They got what, Michael Wilson there? It's fucking awful. It
Yeah.
hurts my eyes just to look at this roster. What the fuck are they doing in Arizona?
Yeah, I mean they tore that thing down to the bones the last couple of years, and they also made a lot of bad contract moves with the Cliff Kingsbury stuff.
It's interesting. They ended up with Elijah Higgins. Elijah Higgins was the other wide receiver from Stanford. He was drafted by Miami last year. But he, like I said, Michael Wilson, the other kid from Stanford, those two played together. I didn't even know they got him.
I mean, the Desmond Ritter trade, which we kind of talked about
Weird.
with the Falcons, but it's,
Yeah, I didn't like that either.
I think that says more about how they feel about Clayton Tune. I mean, than more than anything.
Yeah.
Ooh, look at that! They got L.J. Collier.
yeah, I mean, I think Desmond Ritter is pretty high up there in the backup QB's rankings. You know, like he'd be a pretty damn good backup.
Yeah, I
We-
mean, he can operate in offense. I just did not like. Well, I don't even know how to like say this. I just don't like him. I think that's just what it comes down to. I mean, he could.
I don't either.
If we're
Anya
gonna
doesn't
rate him as a,
personal level.
I don't know. It was just to watch. He had moments of brilliance last year, and then, but just so much like, okay, he's young. I just thought he had a higher floor than he showed. Ugh, I don't know. I just hate watching bad football, and
Yeah.
he did not mesh well with the scheme either from last year. So maybe this will be better for him. I don't know.
I
But
don't know, man.
hopefully, he doesn't have to worry about playing. So
The thing I don't understand is that, I mean, like, they paid some of these guys pretty well, I think, for what they are. And, like, just none of these moves feel like, oh, that's a good one. Like none of them. Like, I don't like any of these moves.
How did Murphy Bunting do in Tennessee?
Okay.
yeah, he wasn't.
He's like the
he wasn't
only name
amazing.
I knew. Well, I guess Bile Nichols I knew. And Mac Wilson, but, like, this is awful.
Yeah, I know. I mean, Sean Bunting was a solid piece. Like they need to build the team, and they're gonna have to take mid-level contracts to fill it out. Like you're not gonna fill it up everything through the draft. So you're gonna have to get some replacements.
Do they have bad cap space problems that I don't know about? Because
I
like
don't-
this looks like the team that the Raiders should. I mean, the Raiders, the Saints should have put together, not Arizona.
Well, that's the thing because they actually decided to go through with a rebuild. So because they knew Kyler Murray wasn't going to be playing for a full year.
I mean,
Well,
they paid a decent amount of money for like the top 3 contracts there with Sean Bunting, Nichols, and Jones. I mean, those are pretty decent contracts, like the size of them. You know.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I mean, they're not like crazy.
Yeah.
You need to entice people to come and play, and you need to fill holes. So what are you gonna do? You just hope that these guys will play well enough, and then you just let the draft come to you and just get as many good players on your team as possible. Which, I mean, given your situation, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
I mean, Evan Brown, I like him as a backup center. I think he could give for a run for his money, but I think Furholt played decently well last year to earn the starting spot. So
I think I gotta give this an F.
yeah,
Like it's bad, man.
I'll probably do D.
I'm not gonna kill it, but it's a D for
They
me as
killed
well.
it themselves.
I'm just because this is like one of those things. Like yesterday we were whelmed about the Buccaneers, but I think they made enough trades or enough moves to kind of make me feel comfortable. I'm just not. I'm underwhelmed.
Yeah,
Pretty
definitely.
severely. So I don't think they did awful. So I'm going to go with the D as well.
This might be the worst one. This might be the worst roster. I'm very sure of it. I can't believe they paid Jonah Williams.
Yeah.
Ugh. I mean, what
Gotta-
do you guys think of Bilo Nichols? Like, I'm not a big fan of him either.
Yeah, me either.
And Murphy Bunting is okay. He's definitely not a number 1.
No, I think they're hoping Starling Thomas takes a step up. I mean, Sean Murphy Bunting at least is a starting caliber player, and that's kind of just what you need right now. Starting caliber guys.
I mean, he's got a pulse. I guess I could say
Okay.
that.
I think he's better than just a vegetable with a pulse.
It's just like when there's just like no stardom at all outside quarterback on this team. Well, I guess they have Buda Baker, but like it's that and then a bunch of CFL players almost. Like
Okay,
it's
come on.
so bad, man.
Completely
Jeez.
disrespecting these grown ass men.
These are way.
No,
That
I'm
just got-
disrespecting the franchise. It's not their fault. They're just getting their money. You know what I mean? Like
Nah. They have some talent. They have talent. There's no superstars. They're not CFL players.
Yeah.
there's just more player. Like this roster makes me think I don't know any NFL players.
I don't know. I mean, I like Paris Johnson, how he developed. Trey McBride was great last year. James Conner, Michael Wilson, Greg Dortch, I always liked. Zach Pascal's a good blocking wide receiver. Buda Baker. I do like Mac Wilson and Kaiser White as like starting caliber players.
Mac Wilson was more of a special teams player.
With New England?
Yeah.
He was on the field.
Not that much. They got Bentley, they got a few other guys there that were starting over him.
Yeah. Wasn't he like an inside linebacker?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but he plays more special teams than he does the actual field.
I don't know. I thought he got the field more than that, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. BJ Al-Jalari's kind of developing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he definitely can get better.
They have guys. It's just there's no stardom, like something to push it over the edge. And I don't think they really wanted to make those moves until they knew the roster was good enough to warrant those moves. I mean,
if this was like Madden, like if this was my Madden roster, I would just trade everything away.
My God.
Right now, everything's gone. We're having a fire sale.
I think. I mean, if they go top like wide receiver with their top pick, I mean, their offense I feel like is gonna be pretty damn good.
Yeah. Oh, that's actually going to be deadly, honestly.
Yeah. Because Trey McBride obviously came out huge last year, and he's a chance to be a star. The run game, obviously, with Connor and DeMarcado.
Even DJ and
Michael Carter
could do some things. And Paris John, like the interior isn't terrible. It's average.
Yeah.
I don't really like.
Yeah, Hernandez is okay.
Yeah. Jonah Williams is probably the one spot that's just been known to get wrecked. So
yeah, he's bad. Well, I mean, Kelvin Beachum, the guy they have over him, isn't that great either.
Right.
Good person, but not a very good player.
So yeah, I think the offense is going to be great. They just need to build the defense. So I'm fine with what they try to do.
I'm thinking about trying out.
I think it's going to change our whole perspective is going to change after the draft. So we'll see how that goes. But right now it's a D for me.
Agreed.
Gross. All right, let's move on. I'm tired of you talking about this. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just don't have any drive to talk any more about Arizona.
It just sucked the life out of me, Arizona. Jesus.
It really did. We should have finished with them, not started with them.
Then we might as well skip them altogether. No, I'm just kidding.
But
all right,
man,
let's do the Rams. Fuck the Rams.
So I'm really
they did so many good things here.
I'm really curious to know if they knew Aaron Donald was going to retire, or if it was kind of sudden for them as well.
They did for a couple months now, actually. That's why they restructured his contract so the hit to them wouldn't be as detrimental before he retired.
I'm just surprised they didn't spend a little money on a defensive lineman with that in mind. Like, what's his face was out there? I'm going to say the wrong name. Yeah, Eric Armstead. Okay, it was who I thought it was.
I don't know. I think they like who they have in the interior right now.
Yeah, I mean, Kobe Turner. I mean,
yeah.
Bobby Brown's not.
Yeah, that was one of Austin's golden boys last year's draft. That's what I get for saying I'm doing okay with it. I blame
Moose
for this.
Piece of shit.
Why? What did I do?
Nothing. I just had to. I'm sorry.
But I really do. I liked pretty much all the moves they've done for the most part. Re-signing Kevin Dotson, giving him that extension. He looked great with them last year. I think he really fits their scheme.
He's a great player.
Yeah. Jonah Jackson is a great as a good backup guard. I mean, he could probably start too, actually. Colby Parkinson's a great tight end prospect. He can do a little bit of everything. He's not like elite at any one trait, but he's like above average at catching and route running and blocking.
Cameron Curl's a pretty good signing for them.
And I was going to get to him, yeah.
Yeah, like
Cameron Curl, I love him as a strong safety.
Yep.
They didn't pay that much for him either.
No, not at all.
That's really not a bad deal. I'm surprised that's all he got.
I even like the Jimmy G signing, taking him for 1 year, like for a $4.5 million deal to back up Matthew Stafford.
Like Stetson Bennett's practicing.
Yeah, I was gonna say Stetson Bennett's probably older than Jimmy Garoppolo, right?
Nice.
I'm surprised they don't trade him to Arizona. He would fit in there.
Yeah, the retirement home. Yeah.
This just in. A 2027 7th round pick for Stetson Bennett.
We're like 3 years older than Stetson Bennett, but still.
Wow. That sounds terrible for Stetson Bennett.
That's true. That's true.
But they also picked up Tre'Davious White too, by the way.
Yeah.
That was a great move too.
Yeah, and it's definitely a them type move. He definitely fits their system. I wonder if they're going to bring back Akello.
Yeah, I think they're in talks with him on doing that, but we'll see. I think he wants to play the field. Yeah, I'm pretty happy. They're going to be great next year, and I think they did nothing but get better in multiple spots.
Did they lose the running back, or was that their running back room the whole week last year? I feel like there's someone else with Kyron Williams.
There's someone else behind him. Oh, Cam Akers. They gave him
Akers.
The Vikings. Yeah, they traded him to the Vikings mid-season.
That just happened last year?
Yep, mid-season.
I don't know who their left tackle is. Alaric Jackson. How good is he?
He played serviceable. He beat out... Did he beat out Noteboom? I'd have to see how that went, because they paid Noteboom a good amount of money. So I don't know how Noteboom played last year. I think he actually got hurt. But I don't know. He doesn't stand out to me. I know he played serviceable when he was on the field. I just know Noteboom was the guy previously.
I don't know. I'm kind of surprised they haven't touched the D-line at all. I mean, I know they got Kobe Turner, but I feel like it's definite need now, obviously. But I almost feel like they could go out and maybe get 2 defensive linemen in this draft. I mean, I don't know how you feel about the Deshaun Johnson and Bobby Brown, but I mean, I don't know a crazy amount about either of them.
I do like Bobby Brown, but he's not crazy good. They can definitely stand to improve. Like if somehow Byron Murphy drops to them in the draft, or who's the other guy?
Jerson Newton.
Jerson Newton, yeah.
Or apparently he likes to be called Johnny Newton.
Johnny Newton. That's pretty dope.
Yeah, I mean, they've made some moves that I like. I feel like they're not done at all. We're probably going to see them sign a few more guys.
Oh, 100%. I mean, the Tre'Davious White was a signal for that.
Yeah. And I think that's a pretty good one. Was it like $8 million or something? It wasn't bad.
No.
They're pick 19 too.
Their first round pick since 2016.
Oh yeah, right. Shit.
Doesn't that blow your mind?
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'm just like,
do
you know who that one? Remember who that pick was?
What year was it?
2016.
I don't know.
16.
Jared Goff.
Oh,
wow, that's the last first round pick.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeesh.
Yeah,
I thought it was going to be the running back. What was his name? Or Gurley?
No, he was I think he was 2015 for him.
I knew they were close, both of them.
Yeah, he was a player when the Jeff Fisher was still the head coach.
Oh.
Yeah, you don't need to tell me. Yeah, that says all how I feel about it.
I'll tell you, some of the statements I've heard from that guy. Wow. That's all I'm gonna say. Just wow. Pretty interesting guy to hear in interviews.
But yeah, I mean, they're doing a good job building up their team and getting some great talent. No one like breaking the bank either in the secondary that they definitely needed help in.
Mm-hmm.
Darius Williams played with them in the past. Cameron Curl's a good strong safety. Tre'Davious White's, if he's healthy, if he's even 80% of what he was, that's still a great pickup. Yeah. So,
do you think they overspent on Colby Parkinson?
So it's weird because
seems pretty high.
Tight ends surprisingly get paid, like the non-top guys get paid more than you'd expect. I don't even know how to describe it. There's a premium when you know they have experience. They end up paying a little bit more for them, even if they're not stars. But I mean, he's only getting paid 7.5 a year and he's still young, and he showed a lot of improvement year to year. I mean, obviously they liked him. They played the Seahawks twice a year, and they saw what he can do.
So
So if
what are
sorry,
you
go ahead.
guys thinking as far as grading?
Uh,
I don't want to give him an A minus.
Really?
yeah,
You want to give them that high?
I was gonna give him a B or B plus.
Okay, cool. I'm down with that. I don't want to give him the
I was at a
satisfaction of
C
an A.
plus.
Why?
Just not a lot of moves. A lot of holes still on this team.
They didn't need to make a lot of moves though.
No. I mean, they could definitely use a third wide receiver. The O line, I mean, like I said, I don't know much about the left tackle, so I'm not
You
going to
didn't
talk
like
about
Tutu
him.
Atwell?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Demarcus
He's
Robinson played
he's
really well with them
okay.
too last year.
Yeah,
He was a great
I
threat.
feel like they could upgrade there. I feel like tight end is a position they could have upgraded a little better. They definitely need another running back in the room. Their defensive line looks very shallow. Is there any linebackers in that room you like?
Yes, actually. I really do like Ernest Jones. He actually plays really well.
Okay, yeah. Did he play all right last year in his rookie year?
He flashed. I was
I like
surprised
him.
by his play. I don't know how he's going to do with Aaron Donald gone, but he was Kobe kind of started taking over Aaron's role as the
yeah.
seasons ended, but at the beginning of the year, both of them were using Aaron Donald as like a great like distractor for the rest of the offensive line, as he always does. You need like 3 guys to cover him, so to
But
block him.
like, the way I look at it, man, it looks like they built up the secondary well, but it just looks like nothing else was done. You know what I mean? So it's hard for me to give them a B grade based on, okay, we filled well at one portion of our team. I think there's plenty of places to make moves. The only thing I'll give them is it seems like most of their spending was pretty smart.
Right.
I mean, they were a playoff team last year and went up against the Lions to get exited out. So I mean,
And they played him hard too. I think they
yeah,
almost
it was a
pulled it
really good
out.
game.
Yeah, but the NFC was pretty weak last year.
The Lions were pretty good.
Yeah, Lions are pretty fucking good.
I'm just saying,
Um,
you said they made the playoffs. Well, they made the playoffs in the easier divisions to make it.
True. That's,
they made it to
I
the second
agree.
round, didn't they? Or was that the first round that they got knocked out?
The first round.
They played well in the first
Actually,
that game.
no, it was the first round because they were. Wait, yeah, because
They
they played against the Lions the first one. Yep. I don't know. I just really like their moves. I think they were solid offensively for the most part,
Yeah, definitely.
other than running back, and you don't really need to address the running back.
I mean,
You don't.
Kyron
You
Williams
don't.
was out for a few games last year, wasn't
Yeah, I'm just saying you don't need to, and you can still pick some guys up, but
he? Yeah.
like the wide receiver room is good enough that they don't need to do anything with that. They solidified their offensive line with Kevin Dotson and bringing in Jonah Jackson. They got a backup in Jimmy G that could literally win them like 3 or 4 games if somehow Matt Stafford gets hurt. And the secondary got picked up. Like they did as much as I could. Like I do agree. I think it's going to bring them down to a B minus for me. They could have done more, but not much more in my eyes.
I just think if they did a little more in the defensive line department, I could put them at a B minus. I just
I'm going
think
with
there needs to be a little more done there.
sticking with that B. Damn it.
Yeah,
That's
same
fine.
here.
So the 49ers are up next.
Hell yeah. I mean, hell no.
Oh, that was weird.
That
How
was
you said
weird.
that.
I didn't like it either.
Yeah, they
Didn't like
let
it.
Eric Armstead go.
They did.
Yeah.
And
They put a
Sebastian
lot more
Joseph
than
Day
that.
and Chase Young and Javon Kinlaw and Randy
Oh,
Gregory.
Chase Young. Oh no.
Well, I'm just saying they got rid of a lot of D linemen.
They
Like, they
did.
let a lot walk,
And Kinlaw, I was surprised.
but they still brought in a lot of guys too, though, with Yetur Gross-Matos coming in. Well, I guess, is it just him that they brought in?
They brought in Leonard Floyd too,
And Leonard Floyd, that's who the other one was. Which, he's
Malik
he's
Collins.
good. Oh, god damn it! How can I forget him? I actually like Millie Collins, so I
Yeah,
thought that was a good one. Good pickup. They got Devondre Campbell to cover for. God damn it! Who was the linebacker that got hurt in the Super Bowl last year?
Greenlaw.
Yeah, fucking Greenlaw. Um,
Fucking Greenlaw.
yeah, so until he comes back, I think Devondre Campbell will be great next to Fred Warner, like
Yeah, definitely.
Jordan Elliott. It's a good depth piece. Juwan Jennings, third down extraordinaire. They definitely want to bring him back. Other than that, just they can't really do much considering how many star players they're paying. So I'm not going to complain.
Yeah.
I mean, I can complain, but only because they're still good. They're going to get Talanoa Hufanga back next year. That'll be awesome. So it's not like they
Yeah.
really need to do anything with the secondary, though I do think their secondary is probably the weakest aspect of their defense last year, but it seems like they're trying to get depth on that as well.
But I mean, Jair did play pretty well at the end of the season, I thought.
Oh, Jair Brown, yeah.
Yeah, they definitely could draft a corner, I think. Think that would really help them.
I would hate that if they draft one early. I mean, I would love it as a neutral guy for
Did
them.
you see that? Take Higgins?
Higgins?
Yeah, from Clemson.
No, I
What?
think of T. Higgins
Or
first.
Wiggins.
I'm like,
Is
what?
it Wiggins?
Probably.
I could see him getting to the 31, 30, somewhere in that range.
Yeah, I think he'd be a good fit. I mean, he would lock down the sideline for sure.
I still wouldn't be surprised if sometime next week we find out that Brandon Ayuk is gone, but we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, if I were them, like I would consider this a go for it season until like this inevitably starts falling apart. Be like, if you're not going to give us a second or a first for Brandon Ayuk, we're just going to take it as house money and just keep him for the year. Now, whether he decides to play on that tag remains to be seen.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't need to make a lot of moves, but I do like a lot of the moves they've made. I mean, the losses on the defensive line are a little rough, but I don't think the people replacing them are terrible.
No, I mean, I think the names they lost were more names, like big names, rather than like great players.
Mhm.
Other than Eric Armstead. Eric Armstead, I always thought played really well with them. Chase Young was up and down. Sebastian Joseph Day was solid for the most part. Javon Kinlaw was terrible for the first 3 years, but I thought he showed a lot of development last year. And then Randy Gregory, he was all right as well, but he was also inconsistent like Chase Young was.
$9 million a year for over 2 years for Yatir, I thought was a really good deal. And the Leonard Floyd contract looks pretty smart too. It's like, well, we're gonna give you a chance to make it in the system. If it doesn't work, they'll just move on. Neither of them look like bad moves.
No, not at all. I think Yetur Gross-Matos, he was kind of like the Javon Kinlaw for the Panthers, where he wasn't really that good for the first 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
But I think he really showed an uptick in production his last year. So pay him a small contract for the chance of that to grow further, especially that defense.
I definitely think that's a bet worth taking.
Oh yeah, yeah. I always had a soft spot for him when he came out in the draft.
Can't imagine why.
Yeah, of course you did. What against that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty set up to go to the draft and maybe build up the secondary a little better. Maybe get another wide receiver. Their team is good. I mean, I don't really have much complaints.
Yeah, it is.
Bear.
You're just in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and the whole obviously the goal is to make it again. So just fill the holes with the people that you couldn't pay with cheaper contracts, and then hopefully in the draft just keep replenishing that with cheap young talent. I mean, what else more could they do? To be honest,
Yeah. Also, Joshua Dobbs went there as a backup.
I was looking at that name.
Let's go.
He's going for that record for most teams.
Oh yeah, my goal is all
Purdy.
32. You want him to dethrone Purdy?
Yep. Get it.
Bear rooting for a previous Steeler, coloring me shocked.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. That can go either way.
That's true.
Yeah, I really like the moves that they made. Especially on, I was going to say especially on defense, but they pretty much only made moves on defense.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, totally agree with what you guys said.
Yeah, I would probably give it a B plus, just because I do think their O-line was their biggest weakness on offense last year, and they just re-signed John Feliciano to keep up with the consistency on the line. Yeah, I don't see. It's not like it got better, so. And that was their problem. That was wasn't a problem. It just wasn't great.
Yeah.
Other than Trent Williams, obviously.
Yep.
So B plus for me. I don't know what you guys think, but
Yeah,
No,
yeah, I'm thinking like a B.
I was gonna say B plus.
solid. Good job, Niners. Now let's move on to a real team.
The Steelers.
We already talked about them.
We talk about them again.
Nah, the Seahawks. I'm actually kind of curious what you guys think.
The Purge.
Purge.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
the
pretty
Purge in the
honestly,
secondary.
pretty much, honestly. Well, the two old talent, they kind of did what a lot of like the rebuilding teams did, is just get rid of the aging talent that's soaking up too much of the cap.
No
It's
way.
it's a shame with Diggs. I really do like Diggs. I know he had an off year, but I do think he's a really good
I don't,
player.
I don't
Is he
even
got
blame
signed?
him. No, not yet. I
I'm
don't even
I'm very surprised.
I really don't even blame him for having the off year. Like you still should try your best, but like that defense was so undisciplined and him having to cover for the mistakes. He did have a down year, but I can see him not putting in as much of the effort when you're constantly having to take care of that.
Him and Brooks, I definitely thought were gonna be back. I was very shocked that they weren't.
I was rooting for Brooks, but I'm glad we got Jerome Baker out from the Dolphins.
Yeah, I
I
like
think
him a
he's gonna be a
lot.
solid piece.
Mhm.
Yeah, I feel like he has injury issues, but I mean, he's really good when he's on the field.
No, he makes a lot of splash plays.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
yeah, he's often on IR a lot. It looks like.
the Seahawks definitely were like,
Ooh,
we're going to bring back the talent we know we want to keep. That's our number one goal. So, I mean, they traded for Leonard Williams last year and he played really well. So they pretty much had to extend him. Otherwise, there'd be a waste of a half year rental. I'm just happy he did actually play well for them to for the contract to be justified. Noah Fant, out of the three tight ends they lost, he was the one I least expected to be back, and paying him pretty much 10.5 mil a year is kind of surprising. I don't know what they were thinking with the new system. If they're going more pass heavy, then yeah, Noah Fant had to be the guys out of those three. And then they brought in Pharaoh Brown, who definitely made some crazy splash plays with New England. The Seahawks definitely needed tight end depth, as they pretty much got rid of all of them before the draft or before the free agency showed up. So, and I'm actually curious how Nick Harris will fit in, because there was a lot of hype of him beating out Ethan Posick before he got hurt before the season started.
I don't think that was really gonna happen, to be honest.
He was labeled the starter and then he got hurt before the season started.
I mean, he's been
That's the
there
only
for
reason I'm
what? I think he was drafted by them. I just don't really remember seeing him hit the field all that much.
Yeah, it looks like he was on IR quite a lot.
saying. I
I
mean,
mean, they didn't pay
apparently no, we didn't pay him nothing. But I mean, you make it a camp battle between him and Olu Oluwatimi and Rayshawn Jenkins. I'm very happy to see a safety that can tackle show up on the team. So
Don't say that. It's too soon.
that's like the one thing they did say he was good at on the Jaguars. So I'm just gonna take it.
And he got Kayvon Wallace.
I was wondering, you're gonna bring up the old Eagles player.
That was one of the first things I noticed.
I know that name.
That depth chart.
How was he? I actually never really paid attention to how he played overall. Has he gotten better over time? I know he
I
wasn't
mean,
really good with the Eagles,
yeah, he went to Arizona and then Tennessee. So
so he's been bouncing around a lot.
yeah, and now Seattle. I mean, I really liked his potential coming out after we drafted him, but he makes a lot of dumb decisions. He's not that great at covering.
Yeah,
I don't know. I've always had a soft spot for him for some fucking reason.
I might have missed it,
Don't
but
understand.
Tremaine Akram. How do you feel about him? How do you feel about that signing?
he was the Rams' backup guard. I have no feelings whatsoever.
Okay. I mean, the draft's coming up.
But we needed
Christmas is coming.
we needed a guard. We needed that hole to be filled because we had no guards either. So
I
do you see how many guards is on this list? There's 3 of them, and that was after we signed him. So that was definitely needed. I'm not gonna I don't think he's gonna be great, but I'd rather have him than nobody. So do you guys want to talk about that Sam Howell trade?
I actually kind of like it, to be honest. I'm very surprised that Washington just kind of dropped him like that, but I guess that's what you got to do. You gotta get rid of all the old and go in with the new. I mean, they're definitely going for a quarterback, but I don't know, man. I think he could still be a good backup for Washington. So their loss, your gain, as
Yeah,
far as I'm
exactly.
concerned.
It's kind of what my feeling was on it.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely.
like he was going to be cheaper than Drew Lock was anyway, and all we got to do is swap
Yeah.
the picks around to get him. Like we don't lose the number of picks in the draft. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and I definitely would take Sam Howell over Locke.
Oh
really,
yeah. Me
Yeah,
too.
I
I
like the
totally agree.
potential of Sam Howell. So I do
I
want
do
the
too.
development aspect of him behind Drew Lock. Everyone kind of knows who he is, whereas Sam
Yeah.
Howell had to deal with a lot of bull crap with Washington. I'm very, actually really excited about that because if we don't get a QB in the draft, like he's a potential future guy. We'll see. I am actually surprised they extended Darrell Taylor just because he is strictly a pass rushing line off ball linebacker, and he is not known for run defense at all.
Yeah, man. I mean,
I don't,
I
yeah,
look
I don't even know anything about him.
I look at this roster in general, and I mean, it's pretty well built. I mean, you guys are kind of built where you can kind of draft pretty much whatever you want.
That's true.
There's a lot. I don't see many holes. I mean, I think the
Yeah,
interior offensive line is definitely one of them. But I mean, Olu, a lot. How do you say his last name?
Oluwatimi.
Oluwatimi. I mean, I liked him a lot. You know, I kind of was circling him for the Steelers last year. The way he performed at the Senior Bowl, I mean, was pretty impressive. You know, he had not a very good rookie year, but you know, that's pretty common with centers. I mean, you know, it might take a year or two for him to really grow within the role, but I mean, I think I don't think it's unreasonable to think he could be a starter there again this year.
No, I mean I'm rooting for him. I thought he played decently well when Evan Brown was out for a game, and he's gonna have another year to train up. Not as much competition. I do wish they did try harder to pick up a starting caliber guard, like a known.
Well,
Like I was hoping for maybe a Luminor. Well, he's a tackle.
to be
You know.
fair, for some weird reason this year, guards have been getting paid very well, which is,
Yeah,
I think, pretty uncommon. Usually, like I'm used to seeing, I don't know, $6 to $8 million deals, and this year, like we're seeing guys like Robert Hunt getting big money. I mean, Dotson's money blew my mind when they gave him as much as he did. Not that I don't think he's a good player, but wow, I didn't think he'd get that much.
right.
So, you know, maybe they're just playing it safe. There's a bunch of guards in this class that look pretty decent. There's usually about 4 or 5 every year, you know, as we both know. And I think they could definitely be in a really good spot to grab one of them.
Yeah, I just do find it funny because it has been John Schneider, the GM, has been asked questions about their guard situation, and he's like, they're a dime a dozen, you know.
Crazy.
Really?
I know that's what
Crazy.
it's like. Well,
That drives me nuts.
what about in the first round? It's like, there's tons of them in the back. It's fine. I was like, that's not what I want to hear.
Crazy.
That's not what I want to hear. You better be just blowing smoke everyone's asses so they don't know what you're doing in the draft.
I mean, you still got Connor Williams out there, which could be kind of fun for you guys.
Yeah, I'd be very stoked about that move. It's just for a stopgap year. Like I'd be very happy with that move.
Matt Filer's out there. Connor McGovern's still out there. So, I mean, there's some guys, you know, it's not the end of the world. I can't remember if Dalton Reiser's good or not. I don't think he is. But I don't really want to claim that offhand.
I know there was hype around him when he was playing,
Yeah.
but
On
I
a
don't know
bad
if
offensive line.
I don't know if the hype translated to actual production play, but
Ooh, you could get JC Hassenauer. He's a great I can't even say it.
I bet you'd be pretty upset that you guys let go Jason Peters.
oh yeah. Hey, I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah, I know.
He was pretty good.
Yeah, I know.
I saw him
He's crazy.
like this old man still got moves. What the hell?
Yeah,
38,
yeah.
what is he, 42?
42.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
It's like
Honestly, though, like
dad playing on the field, still beating up his college kids, you know?
Yeah.
Connor Williams could be a really fun pickup for you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, going back to our first episode when Bear brought up that tackle that he thought was a tight end, Jason Peters was a tight end or was drafted as a tight end for the Bills.
That's so funny because we were literally talking about that today at work because he was talking
I
about it
still
to
can't
our
find
other
who
Eagles
it was.
fan.
It's driving me nuts.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was
I
talking
haven't
to the
looked
other
that deep
Eagles
into
fan at work, and he was just like, "Oh, you mean Jason Peters?" He's like, "No, not Jason Peters." So it's such a coincidence that you brought that up.
Yeah.
I'll say one more quick move that I thought was pretty sneaky. George Fant back with the Seahawks. He's always played at an average level. The infuriating thing with him was never really taking that next step. But if he's a backup to Abraham Lucas, who had known degenerative knee issues, who's had to have multiple surgeries on that leg, and that starts to flare up again, I think Fant was a great signing for him to play a couple games if Lucas can't, if there's like a flare up or something after the surgery. So I'm definitely got my eye on that one. What do you guys think overall?
I mean, I don't really hate the moves. I wouldn't say I'm jumping over the moon as well. Probably gonna give it like a B minus.
I was probably going to give it like a C plus.
Oh wait, Artie Burns. You guys signed Artie Burns
Again.
And they extended Tyler Lockett to $15 million a year.
I just saw that name. Holy shit! I forgot. I didn't even think he was in the league anymore.
No, he had him last year, and I don't want to talk about it. It's fine.
It's okay. We don't have to talk about it.
Yeah, I would say B minus.
Really? Okay. Well, you guys are higher on it than I am. I think C plus. I'm like slightly above average. Like I'm not jumping for joy, like the Bears said, but I'm not like. There's a little bit more excitement to it than other teams.
Yeah, I think it's slightly above average.
So that's why I was going to go see with C plus. But if you guys are B minus, I mean, that makes me feel better about it.
Yeah,
and like I said, I'm not crazy about it, but
getting past or over the Diggs and Adams stuff. Not that Diggs is was bad or anything, but
just expensive.
Yeah, expensive. So
yeah,
I think that's a big part of my grade too.
I think it probably would have been like a C minus if they didn't get Leonard Williams in that Sam Howell trade going.
Oh, yeah, and the Leonard Williams, keeping Leonard Williams. I've always had a soft spot for him.
Me too now.
Even when he played on the Giants and whatever, but I've always liked him.
I'm probably I'm like looking at like the roster and I'm almost talking myself down to a C just because they didn't really address the guard situation and linebackers as much. Like the linebackers are still super thin and the guards are super thin. So maybe I think I'm at a C now.
I can be convinced of a C plus.
No, you're fine. You can stay at B minus. It's all good.
I mean, if they made a move like Connor Williams, like I would almost bump it up to a B plus. Like if they could make a move like that. I think they're like one move away from, being in a good spot going into the draft.
That's fair.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's still the draft to go to.
Yeah.
So
like I said, I mean, they don't look like they have any serious holes. I think they have a pretty decently configured team. I was blown away that they didn't make the playoffs. Yeah, I mean, it should be an exciting year when they draft Michael Penix in the first round this year.
What do you guys think about the rest of the division? Which one is your favorite team?
Which one is our favorite team, or which one?
Favorite
moves, one is
my
favorite team.
Which one is your favorite moves for the free agency?
My favorite is the Steelers.
Which team did the best?
Probably the Rams.
I'm right there with you. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Rams.
It's close with the 49ers because I do like with their plans and keeping that shit afloat. But I think the Rams did a lot to improve. So
yeah, definitely.
So they do have a first round pick this year. I wonder what they're going to do with it. They're going to trade back. Watch. We don't even know what to do with these things.
That'd be hilarious.
We don't even know what to do with this. Just here, you take it. Let's move ahead here to the NFC North. And first up here, the Chicago Bears. They've made some moves.
There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, and I think we kind of need to move on this one pretty quickly because there's definitely a lot here. Let go Eddie Jackson. Kind of a bummer, but it makes a lot of sense.
I think the Bears taking the lead on this one.
Yeah, they cleared over $20 million in cap space, getting rid of Whitehair and Jackson. I mean, seems like absolute needs there. Unfortunately, they extended Jalen Johnson. That was kind of my hope through this free agency process. I knew it wasn't going to happen. I don't know why. I was like, I don't want him. We're not going to get him. And then they did. I'm like, see, why did I get my hopes up?
Exactly. He was fantastic last year.
Yeah.
Great.
Absolutely. Like even the year prior in 2022, he showed so much, especially on that Eagles game.
I can't believe they paid him, and then he was like telling Caleb Williams, like, Like, you got to earn your respect here. And I'm like thinking to myself, dude, they just traded the starting quarterback. You better calm down a little. Like, they were about to trade you last year.
He's like, you didn't earn my respect yet.
They're like, oh god, we shouldn't have paid him.
I don't know. Yeah, I respect you from Jalen Johnson because, I mean, Caleb has been doing some pretty crazy things.
Yeah, I've been sending a lot of them to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of surprised they didn't re-sign Mooney. That one kind of shocked me.
Well,
Yeah,
they
me too.
got
Well, they did get Keenan Allen.
yeah, they got Keenan Allen. So that's kind of an upgrade.
Yeah,
Just a little bit of an upgrade.
for 1 year. I mean, it's just, I don't know. Mooney's been there through all the hard times. I would have thought they'd keep him around.
I don't know if he was like asking for too much money, but then again, they're paying. I think they're paying Keenan Allen's contract. So
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because they can't afford. Because the Chargers couldn't afford to keep him.
right.
They got rid of him at the deadline. Kevin Byard got paid by them, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, I was looking at their safeties. I mean, you got Jaquan Brisker and Jonathan
Jaquan Brisker.
Owens and
Can you say that again?
Jaquan Brisker.
How did you say it last time?
Jaquan Brisker.
Again.
Elijah Hicks was there. I mean, I guess they could have tried to get a veteran presence back there. I mean, that's secondary. If he's not the only guy there, Kevin Byard with Brisker, Kyler Gordon, Tyreek Stevenson, and Jalen Johnson. I mean, that can utilize his mental ability in that game because everyone else is so good.
Is Kyler Gordon still coming along?
Oh yeah, he's a great nickel.
Man, that's a pretty stud backfield then.
I know.
Wow.
Yeah.
They could be like one free safety away from really blowing up here.
If they pick up like an edge in the draft with Montez Sweat, like they could be really scary as a defense.
I don't know how much he played last year, but I know they did draft Zach Pickens last year. I definitely think that's a name to keep an eye on as a guy to elevate this year because, man, he was awesome last year. I mean, I really liked Zach Pickens. I was hoping he was going to be a Steeler. I mean, he's as a nose tackle, man. He was just mean on the one-on-ones during the Senior Bowl. I really like him.
Yeah, bareback with why can't everyone be a Steeler in the draft and in free agency?
Look,
Pretty much.
what can I say? I find some that I just fall in love with. I just can't help it. Think this is the last year we see Tremaine Edmonds with the Bears
No.
based on the contract they're giving him?
Well, I guess it depends on the structure.
I know they're paying him a lot.
Yeah.
And they just paid a lot of people a lot.
This would be the third year of that No, this would be the second year of that contract. So I don't think so. I think they were going to let him play for this year, and they can get rid of him the second year, and he doesn't improve. Then maybe.
15
I like what they did with the Swift pickup.
Mhm.
I don't know if I liked the $8 million for him. I've never been as high on DeAndre Swift, but
I don't know, man. The run game from the Eagles last year was pretty awful.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was. It was pretty awful.
What?
I feel like
it was more.
What?
I feel like Swift
What?
looked so much better when he was in Detroit than when he was with the Eagles.
He played great
This
with
was
the
his
Eagles.
best year ever.
Yeah, that was the best
I
year
don't
of his
know, man.
career.
I just feel like they could have done so much more.
I think Swift could have done so much more. They were leaving wide open holes, and he runs right into linebackers. Like he would switch holes that had a linebacker in it.
I don't know, man.
So I don't think Swift has that vision unless he's trying. That's why he bounces outside because he can see more of the field.
That was his whole thing when he was coming from the Lions. If you remember Hard Knocks, when with the Lions season, Deuce Staley was talking to Swift, saying all those same things that you just said, and he said he has such a potential once he gets those things down to be one of the best running backs in the league. And it seemed like he improved a little bit in the Eagles. He wasn't doing it as much, but he's still doing it.
Yeah,
I still really like him.
Yeah, I mean, I do love
him
his
a lot.
potential. I think he's better than Khalil Herbert, if I'm being honest. So he's still an upgrade. Like you still had to take that shot at a running back for them. I like the more line depth for them. I can never be mad about line depth. The Cody White hair release was surprising, but I guess they felt good enough with the guys they brought. They were planning on bringing in, and I guess they didn't want to pay him as much. I don't really have much else to say about them other than this Fields trade. We can talk about that. The
Yeah, they did him good.
I
I thought I really have a lot of respect for them for it, and not just because he's going to the Steelers.
Well, my first thought when I read that though about them turning down offers for him to go to the Steelers made me think that they were just like making the fans feel better.
I
You
don't know.
know,
There was a lot of things that came out that there was like third round picks offered to them.
and the source was probably the Bears saying that.
I never looked that deep into it, to be honest, but
Look, guys,
it
we
wouldn't
swear
shock.
when he had so much stuff, we just decided to give him a future sixth instead of a current third.
They were just like,
Just
look at those poor Steelers fans
we
over
feel
there.
like
They look like they're gonna jump off a bridge. We got to
since
give them something.
when does the Bears do charity? You know.
Yeah.
Mm.
Didn't he request also that he didn't he say he wanted to go to the Steelers? So,
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
he might have. He probably did. I didn't look that deep into it either.
It's like,
you
just
know,
don't send me to another team that's in a rebuild.
send me to a team that should be going into free build but won't. So we're going to
Oh, stop.
Yeah, I mean, the Bears are stuck in a hard place. They already know what Fields is, and they like who they're gonna probably pick up in the draft. So
Yeah, it's
you
fairly obvious.
can't keep both. You know, like that's just gonna like I
Good.
understand. I mean, you could, but there's the human aspect of it. Like it's just gonna cause workplace drama if you're gonna have two guys that are stars
I mean,
and have star mentalities on the team that are we're gonna fight for it. Like
well, hey,
just
technically they have 3 stars. Tyson Badgett was it, man, you know?
hey, he won a game.
Yeah. Yeah, he won a game, Caleb Williams is gonna have to fight really hard to beat him on the roster.
No, QB, he didn't earn it yet, as Jalen Johnson said. He didn't
Yeah,
earn it.
yeah, yeah.
So
Maybe Johnson will, try out for quarterback as well. You gotta
I
earn it.
was really hoping to see Fields with this new offense they got cooking.
It's a
but
shame.
I don't know. But you don't
Uh,
get gifted. I mean, I think if they didn't trade to the Panthers and the Panthers didn't end up or if the Panthers just didn't end up as being the worst team in the league, like they were
Yeah,
gifted the first round pick. They would have just had the 9th pick. And I don't think they would have done anything for QB. They would have kept Fields for sure and just built the team.
that's a good
But
point.
you have a gift at the first and you can get one of another great prospect. You've already seen enough development out of Fields to say he's not going to take us to the next level. Let's just go for the stars on this next one on a thing that we didn't even pay for. Like we did not pay for any of it.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's kind of hard to pass up that number 1 pick.
So what do you guys think? Good grade, bad grade, meh.
I'm gonna go a B plus.
yeah, I think that's where I am as well. I mean, they signed the player they needed to sign. They made some interesting trades. I really am not gonna knock them for the Justin Fields trade, but I think Keenan Allen with DJ Moore sounds like a lot of fun, man. And a lot of these contracts that I'm looking at, they seem pretty fair. I mean, the only one that kind of jumps out at me is, it's kind of a lot of money for the player is Kevin Byard, but I mean, who knows? He could turn this around. He was a great safety. Maybe this new atmosphere will be enough to really rejuvenate his career. But I mean, otherwise, I don't really have many complaints as far as what they did. They got rid of some players to make up some cap space that look pretty smart. So yeah, I mean, I think a B plus is fair.
I think I was going to go B minus, but I think the point you made with Keenan Allen being with DJ Moore and having Kevin Byard be more of a supplementary piece rather than a main piece with how good their secondary is. And, just getting more depth in places of need and even not in need. Like, I didn't think they needed to get Gerald Everett, but I think having him with Cole Kmet would be awesome. So,
Mhm.
you guys, I think you talked me into a B plus.
And Kevin Byard also last year he got traded to the Eagles in a very bad situation on the defense.
Yeah.
So
He'll
I
have a
think
full off
that,
season to learn the system.
yeah, and also the entire defense was learning a new system because we switched defensive coordinators halfway through the season. But yeah, I think he's better than how he played.
I wholeheartedly
And
agree.
every other defensive back around him is a young, athletic guy. So that can make up for a lot.
Yeah. I mean, his knowledge could take that to the next level.
Exactly.
Take the whole secondary to the next level. So
Mhm.
I like it. All right. Let's move on to the Lions.
Yeah.
We got some interesting moves on their part.
Yeah.
I like Marcus Davenport on a 1-year deal.
Yeah, I like it.
They got DJ Reader on a 2-year, $11 million a year.
And I love that, man. Him and Aleem McNeil
Oh my god!
on that inside, man. Talk about a force.
Like you're not gonna run on them at
No.
all.
No, I really like Reader. He's a fantastic player, and like I said, McNeil, he was definitely one in the draft that I was definitely in love with. Yeah, I think it's worth giving the risk on Davenport.
The trade for Carlton Davis did not come at a better time.
Do you think they already knew at that?
No, they definitely did not know, because the reports were, so they picked him up as, sweet, we have Carlton Davis as the 1, so we don't have to use Sutton as our number 1 guy. Because I mean, he was always good as a secondary piece, like just not as your number 1, not following the number 1 receiver. And he's better in zone too. So Carlton Davis would have taken that away from him. However, he was in the Lions building when the team found out after they signed the Carlton Davis thing. So then they went to go talk to him, and then he just bailed. So yeah, corner's still a weakness, but I don't blame them for that, for Sutton being an idiot. I think the process was super awesome.
Well, innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah, he totally did it.
On the run. He's on the run.
Maybe he just doesn't know yet.
Sure, I'm going on an extended
him
vacation to
alone.
Mexico.
Maybe he did.
And then they had
You believe
the
you will.
audacity to get Kevin Zeitler on that offensive line.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Like, I really like what they
A
did.
team that, is notoriously
Bad at O-line.
Yeah, they just had to go splash at offensive line, right?
Yeah.
Last year they did a really good O-line.
How much did they pay Zeitler, do you know?
I don't, it didn't come out when I took the notes, but
I'm gonna
maybe
check.
can see. That's what I was about to do right now. 1 year, $6 million.
Are you freaking kidding me? Why didn't your team make that deal?
Trust me, I don't fucking know. That's awesome.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to throw your team under the bus, but damn, man.
Hey, Kevin Zeitler might have chosen. He's like, yo, I want to play with Dan Campbell. That's probably what it was. Like,
Kind of
we
looks
probably
like a big version of Dan Campbell.
I wouldn't even doubt if we were like, we'll give you $8 million, and he was like, nah, 6 for Dan Campbell. I'd do that.
He's like,
I'm pretty sure it's just he wanted to play for a contender, most likely. But
well, that too. Hey, look, I would have them pay me $6 million to play with Dan Campbell.
Oh yeah,
do it.
Yeah,
you can pay me $600,000 to play for Dan Campbell right now.
No, I'm gonna, require at least $4 million.
Yeah. You're not being greedy. I get it. You're not proven.
Put me on league minimum. I will be so happy with it. Please.
Yeah.
David, you're a terrible negotiator.
I just know my worth. I'm worth 1.2 million,
How about league minimum? Okay.
Okay. Still more than I make.
No, that's funny. But
I mean, look, if High Noon wants to sponsor us and they want to pay me league minimum, like I'm down for it. Like I will be so happy on league minimum.
Other moves, obviously keeping Mosley for another year, and they got Amik Robertson in when he was on the Raiders.
Yeah, I don't know much about him.
Khalil Dorsey, they're bringing him back for another year. So at least they're still keeping the depth at corner, something they just desperately needed last year.
It definitely looks like they need to maybe add something there, especially at safety.
Yeah. I mean, I love Kirby Joseph.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you think he's like a solid starter for them now?
His rookie year was awesome. This past year was disappointing.
Yeah,
I don't think it was bad. I think it just wasn't to the same level.
Like, and there's favoritism there for me, but
yeah,
because he was another one I really liked coming out, but he didn't play that much throughout the year.
Yeah, I think it might be scheme stuff too. Because I mean, as great as Brian Branch played, I mean, he had some misses last year too. So I don't know.
And he was injured.
Yeah,
I still think Branch looks fantastic, and I don't know, man. There's still guys out there. I mean, there's a handful of names I'm looking down the list right now of guys available, and I mean at safety, there's definitely a handful that look like they could fit the Dan Campbell system.
I like the rush defensive position. Just rush.
Rush defensive position.
Yeah, you see that on the lads.
Oh yeah,
Aiden Hutchinson.
I'm
There's-
here to rush.
Yeah, there's
That's
4 players in that position.
it.
Well, what got me like a little confused is I'm like, okay, nose tackle, D tackle, defensive end, and then I'm like, what?
What's a rush? What's the rush position? Is that the running back? Could be the running back. You never know. They're rushing to the end zone.
The
Imagine if
players
they said-
they're rushing to sign.
Imagine if they
Shit.
said edge. Bear would be freaking out right now if they made an edge position on defense.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, Aiden Hutchinson is an edge.
But actually called edge and not a linebacker or defensive end.
Yeah.
They just call it edge.
No, we're not doing this today. I mean, I'm really excited for this team.
Yeah, me too.
I really hope that they draft another wide receiver. But I mean, I really like the wide receiver room, even with saying that. I mean, St. Brown, I really like Jameson Williams coming out, and I really hope he can turn it around this year. Donovan Peoples-Jones, I think, is way better than people give him credit for. I was
Agreed.
blown away that Cleveland let him go. 'Cause I thought he did some pretty good things there.
He does make the occasional like amazing catch, and you're like,
Yeah.
damn, can you do that more often? And
That's how he was in college too.
He's like, I'll think about it, and then maybe he'll wait a couple games and then he'll do it again.
I'll think about it.
But no,
I mean,
I love his potential.
they even ended up with one of my late round gems in Antoine Green from last year. Like, I got to look a little more into him and see how he played last year, if he played at all. But I mean, I really liked him as well.
I don't know. Overall, I think this is just I think they did a bang up job.
Yeah.
Like reinforcing everything. The trenches especially.
The one that surprised me was getting rid of Gardner Johnson, but I mean, Josh Reynolds got a lot more than I thought he would. So, I mean, I understand letting him go. I'd feel a lot better if they still had Chauncey Gardner Johnson, as Moosey calls him. What's the name?
That's what
Deuce.
CD Deuce. I like Juice better.
Leave it to an Eagles fan.
I like CD Juice better.
It's his Instagram handle. He picked. It's his fucking name.
I'm calling him Juice. I'm calling him Juicy from now on.
Juicy.
Makes no sense.
I'm just calling him Juicy. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll give it like a B.
That's
I mean,
A- from me.
Yeah.
You know what? No, I'm sorry. I actually think it is an A.
It is an A? You brought it up?
Yeah, Reeder, Zeitler, Davenport. Man, I like all those signings.
Again,
I even think
Carlton
Donovan Peoples-Jones, I think, is a pretty good signing. Yeah, Carlton Davis. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I think it's an A. I'm sorry.
You know what? I'll even bring it up from an A- to an A. I like that. That just feels right.
I like all the moves. And I think the price they paid for all the guys is very reasonable. Like $11 million a year for DJ Reeder.
Yeah.
I mean, I know he's coming off an injury, but still, I mean, he's an amazing player.
Yes, he is.
You know, they signed their guard to an extension, who's real good. They picked up Davenport, who could be a real boomer bust for them. I kind of like the bet on that one. Zeitler for $6 million. My God, I mean, wow.
That's a steal.
And Carlton Davis is definitely going to help them immediately. So yeah, I like what they did. I think an A is fair.
I agree with the A.
I do declare an A fair.
All right, well, here's where things get a little weird, in my opinion.
What, with the Packers?
Yeah. I'm just really disappointed they let Aaron Jones go.
They got someone who's good.
You're saying Aaron Jones isn't good?
No, I didn't say that. I just said they got someone who is good.
I just think that Aaron Jones is the better player
than Josh Jacobs.
Yes.
I don't know if I agree with that.
I think Josh Jacobs might be better at some things, but I think overall Aaron Jones is the better player.
I think Josh Jacobs is the better running back. but I think Aaron Jones is the better offensive weapon.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I mean, when they first signed him, I'm like, "Oh, man, can you imagine these 2 in the backfield?" I'm like, "This is
Oh, I know. Everyone was
insane."
talking about it.
I'm gonna love this," and then I'm like, "No!"
I was like, sweet, get rid of AJ Dillon, bring in Josh Jacobs, got Aaron Jones. Beautiful. No, get rid of Aaron Jones, bring back AJ Dillon, have Josh Jacobs. I'm like, this is not what we talked about.
This is not at all what we talked about.
But I do like having Josh Jacobs, though. Like, I'm surprised they made that move. I mean, he's a great running back,
Mhm.
and they apparently value it. I'm not sure why they didn't feel comfortable keeping Aaron Jones.
Yeah, I wish I
I
knew
haven't
more
heard
about
anything
that.
about it. Did anybody hear anything about why? Or
No, I'm
Yeah,
really curious myself.
he only signed. It was only a 7 mil contract with the Vikings.
what's his age? Is it his age that's the problem? They're just trying to get ahead of it.
I don't think so. Where
Aaron
is he?
Jones is 29.
Oh, really? I thought he was younger than that.
Kind of like off topic here, but
Oh yeah, Josh Jacobs is 3 years younger.
Yeah.
did
So I kind of get it.
did Quay Walker have a better year this year? I really don't
Um,
remember seeing much of him.
I definitely saw him more, but I still think he's a pretty decent starter for them.
I would say he did play better. I'm
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say vastly better, like he was amazing and
agreed.
he was like a star
That's
on
what I
the
was trying to
team,
say,
but
but I'm done. So
you're eloquent as wants you to.
I can't put words together. So.
It's as much as I'd expect a moose to do.
Moosey.
Yeah, Quay did get better. He's just not up to the star level yet.
They paid a significant amount for McKinney.
17 mil.
Yeah.
It is a lot, but I definitely like him better than Darnell Savage. I would rather have Xavier McKinney for that price than what the Jags paid for Darnell.
Oh yeah. Oh, I agree with you there.
And he's so young too. Like,
Yeah, he's very young.
I mean, the nice thing about this team is, for the most part, it is pretty young. I mean, the one position, one of their oldest players, David Bakhtiari, I mean, got released, which is a shame. They can't keep paying all that money for him to be injured.
Mhm.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
Somebody's gonna pick him up though. Yeah, I mean, I like their roster. I think they're gonna keep building it with the draft. It doesn't look like they need to fill too many more positions. It looks like they have decent depth all over the place, to be honest.
You need more interior linemen.
Yeah, definitely. But the night is young.
Mhm.
Still a few weeks before the draft.
And I'm rooting for Jordan Love to keep playing well too.
Oh, me too.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, they're going to be pretty damn good up there in the North. I mean, the only real additions is Josh Jacobs and McKinney, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's where it's been kind of hard to talk about this, just because I'm like,
Yeah.
well, I mean, I see two names basically. I'm just still kind of blown away by the Aaron Jones move. I wish I knew
I
more
know.
about it.
I think Josh Jacobs is underrated with pass catching and stuff, but obviously Aaron Jones is better all around weapon, like you guys said earlier. But I think Josh Jacobs can do a lot more than just what he did on the Raiders. But
Yeah, I mean,
Oh yeah. I agree. I think he is also underrated in that department. So
yeah, and I don't want you to think I don't think Josh Jacobs is good. I just think, I
yeah,
really think Aaron Jones is special.
yeah, everyone agreed with you.
yeah, I think it was like strictly like an age, like you're just getting a younger running back, less tread on the tires early before you're stuck paying a contract like that.
Yeah.
And they say they cleared 5.2 million in cap space for it too. And I don't think they lost anybody either that are detrimental to the team. So I think they did a really good job for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're set to take a tackle in the first round. I mean, I doubt Rasheed Walker's going to be their starter at left tackle.
Yeah, that
I
seems
like him,
pretty
but
apparent.
I don't,
Bear, why do you like him?
I mean, he did play for Penn State,
Oh, really?
He's
Oh,
pretty good
really?
there, he was pretty good,
Oh, wow.
I mean, just look at his size alone, 6'6", 320, that's, I like that. He was good though, honestly. I mean, I was shocked that he went as late as he did in the draft, but I mean, you just never know until they're in.
What about Sean
We
Clifford?
don't
Sure.
bring him up. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to talk about him. I'm just very happy he's gone.
Yeah, but overall, I think they did an okay job. I don't
even know how to grade this because the moves are all very minimal. They kept a lot of guys in house. I mean, I can't give them a bad grade, but I feel like I'm like stuck at like a B minus C plus.
that's kind of where I'm feeling.
Like I
Yeah,
don't.
to be honest.
I think B minus is really where I got to put them, just because like you didn't hurt your team. I don't think you made things drastically different. I mean, Xavier McKinney is definitely an upgrade, over Darnell Savage, but
I mean, they are notorious for keeping things in house and free agency. Like
yeah, and I don't
that's
hate
what they
that.
prefer. Like it's their method. It's what they want to do. I don't know, but I'm glad they picked up good pieces in important areas that they definitely needed to keep upgraded. So
I think they only did improve. And last year they were a playoff team that won one game.
yeah.
So I mean, they beat
And
the
I think
Cowboys, which is a plus, which is even better. But
and I think a lot of people, didn't see them as playoff contenders at the
yeah, you're
beginning of
right.
the season. So, they did good, and I think they played very well.
hmm It was all up to Jordan Love, kind of, that got them as good as they were. And
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
It would have.
he's playing fantastic.
Yeah, just keep building around them.
Yep.
That's all
I
I
mean,
ask.
I really am starting to think that teams need to start looking at situations like Jordan Love and saying, "Hey, maybe we should have a little more patience with the quarterbacks. Give them some
True.
more
Yeah.
time to sit."
hmm
It's just like they just keep pumping new talent in. It's hard to. I can totally understand why they don't want to do that. Got to find it and move on. Find it, move on. But I think the best ones are. You're right. Do have that development stage.
I just think we should just really appreciate the ones that are able to do it that quick and just stop killing the ones that can't do it as quick. I can't imagine going from college football and jumping right into being the starting quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
Like it's got to be so hard.
I mean,
hmm
C.J. Stroud and Joe Burrow are like the two I can think of that took the reins immediately and were successful.
Yeah,
Like Mahomes definitely took a year, took that year off behind Alex Smith, and
and I think that was a good thing they did. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And I think that's a really good way of going about it. So yeah, are we ready to talk about the next team on the list here, the Vikings?
hmm
very last one. Let's do it.
Oh boy, everybody get excited.
Oh, I'm pumped up. Can you tell?
Uh,
How pumped up I am.
they don't even seem very pumped up. So I definitely think there's going to be some drastic moves yet. I'm very confident they're going to be trading Justin Jefferson. That seems to me very obvious.
I don't know. There's a lot of like news around it. I think because they want to trade up, they're looking for important pieces to trade, and they're also looking like they don't want to spend the money on him
I think it's a good
immediately.
time, honestly. Like not that I don't think Justin Jefferson's one of the best wide receivers in the league, but I mean if you're looking to get a rookie QB and really start over, now's the time to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It
but I don't know.
sucks, but what are you gonna do? You know what I
But
mean?
you have a rookie QB, so you can afford to pay him for 4 to 5 years. So it's like
But
I
is
would
that what
rather have
Justin
him.
Jefferson wants? That's where I'm kind of at.
What
And
does he want to work with a rookie QB?
yeah,
Maybe not, but I think he would much more enjoy being the most highest paid wide receiver in the league.
Yeah.
yeah. I
And it,
mean,
it also depends on which quarterback they get. You know.
True.
well, I mean,
That's
I don't
true.
see them making it any farther than 3, but at 3, I mean, could be May, could be Daniels, could be
Could be
Williams, who knows?
could be McCarthy. You never know. I'm not even
Could
joking.
be Penix.
That could be a real thing. You never know. Shit's crazy.
All right. The Giants are going to take Junior
Yeah.
in classic Giant fashion.
Yeah. I mean, I think they made a bunch of just like solid moves. Nothing like crazy. I mean, Jonathan Grenard, Andrew Van Ginkel. The Grenard one I thought was an interesting contract. He did show a decent amount last year, so this is more like it seems like it's more of a projection contract. Like they think he's going to keep improving.
Yeah.
Van Ginkel's always been a good role player on the defenses. Every defense he's on. Blake Cashman played well.
Yeah.
On the Texans. Getting Aaron Jones for $7 million to stick it to the Packers. That's always fun. Jerry Tillery is going to be interesting. I don't know how he's going to be a good role player, but I do like him with the defensive coordinator in what's his name again?
Brian Flores.
Yes. So
I mean, this D line makes me think one thing and one thing only, and it's
oh.
yuck. Just absolute yuck. Just let's just run the ball down their throat.
Yeah, I mean Jared Tillery. When I see him on the field, that's what I want to. That's what I would want to do. So
Harrison Phillips too, man. Like I don't care for him all that much. I mean, I like the Cashman signing, and Ivan Pace had a really good rookie year.
yes, he did.
I'm glad. I'm happy for him. Van Ginkel, he's pretty good. Man, this secondary. I just gotta say yuck.
Yeah, they got to
Lot of
figure that
yuck.
out.
Lot of yuck here.
I can't believe Harrison Smith is still there.
I
That is,
know.
yeah,
That's what I thought to myself as well. I was like, oh God, you're still there.
He's 35.
and
But I mean, they have
he's the
definitely
captain.
drafted some premium picks in the last few years that at least it doesn't look like they're starters yet. I mean, they have Lewis Seen, that strong safety out of Georgia who looked, pretty promising coming out. I mean, and Booth, Andrew Booth looked pretty good as well. I mean, I can't knock them. Like they've definitely been trying. I mean, it just really hasn't gone their way. And I mean, these guys could both turn around and, I mean, like I said, I mean, I thought Booth looked pretty good coming out. I think Lucine as well looked pretty good coming out. And if they could really turn around, secondary will look a little better. As it's displayed right now, the defense just hurts my eyes. Can't look at it much more. The O line as well. Man. I mean, you got Christian Darrisaw and then, well, everybody else. I don't know how to say it in a nice way. It's just not a good look. I also don't know how I feel about the running back room outside of Aaron Jones.
Yeah, Ty Chandler's a fine spot starter, but yeah, I'm not really too hyped about it either.
I also think the wide receiver depth is pretty bad. I mean, I think Sherfield and Addison pretty good, but I mean everything after that, it's like, oh, N'Keal Harry and a lot of names I've never heard.
I really do like the Sam Darnold pickup too, though.
Yeah, I like him. Guy for a rookie quarterback to learn behind.
Yeah, and I mean it's like even if the draft doesn't work out the way you want to, you're still planning to draft a QB, even if it's not if you can't get it in the first round or if it's a developmental piece. Like, and Sam Darnold looks like he's better right now. Heck yeah, put him in there for a year, like you said. Let players develop.
He's
For a
definitely
year.
serviceable.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate it. Even if you do start him for the year, and you guys they're not doing that well, just put in the rookie and see how he does.
Yep.
No problems with that.
Do you think that Greenard signing is a fair deal? The 4 years, 76.
Well, that's what I was talking about earlier.
I just don't know what his market. I don't know what that market really looks like for him.
I was saying that deal seems like a potential growth contract. So I don't know how it's laid out, but they're paying him as a way for him to develop. Like they kind of did that with the Eagles. Kind of did that with Sweat. They paid him early, a little extra, and hope for him to develop.
I mean, so his base salary this year is like 1.8, but the next 3 years it's 18 million.
Okay.
And it's only guaranteed the first 2 years.
Okay, so yeah, it's going to be a developmental contract. So if he really balls out, then they're definitely going to keep him.
I think it's pretty high upside though.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So overall, I mean, I like their moves. It's nothing nothing crazy.
Yeah.
They don't see themselves as a contender, obviously, until they figure out the QB situation. But they want to get a good running back with Aaron Jones to supplement the new rookie QB. Fill out that defense for Brian Flores with playmakers. I mean, Andrew Van Ginkel knows him, so that's gonna be an easy fit. I think he does.
Yeah.
Definitely seems like his style linebacker,
Yeah.
I still am scratching my head at this trade that they made with the Texans. Like, what were the Texans doing?
I don't know.
I'm still like, what do they feel they benefited from this?
More picks, I guess.
I guess it just doesn't seem like good value.
I think it ended up evening out once you do like the value of each pick and the trade. It actually ended up being really close.
I know that we've talked about this off air, but I mean, I just feel like maybe a 3rd round pick added to this trade would have made me feel a little better about it. But as it stands, I just feel like the Vikings got a really good deal.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely like it for the Vikings. Like,
I
you're
do
putting
too.
yourself
It's
in a
just
great
weird.
position to trade up. As the Eagles showed, like having more picks, more ammo is always important if you need to trade up for a guy that you really want.
Yeah.
And you're preempted. I'm surprised they did it this early, but I guess they wanted to have all their ammo to talk, like already have the leverage in hand when they make the initial negotiations when the draft comes up. So
Yeah, this offense has some pretty crazy starting weapons with Jefferson, Addison, Hawkinson, and now Aaron Jones.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
Jefferson. Addison, man,
even
really
Sherfield
impressed me.
has some high
Yeah, I like
upside.
Sherfield.
Yeah, he's some high upside, and I think most likely will get a QB. They're going to put him in a pretty good spot to show what he got.
Overall, I think with that trade in mind, I think I want to give him a B, like a B minus. Should we count the trade? Do we count the trade as part of the free agency thing, or
I
do we
don't
want to keep
really
just the
know.
players? Because they didn't get a player out of it. So what do you guys think that'd be
really
good?
can't judge that until after the draft
Okay.
Yeah,
because
it's a
we're
fair point.
obviously going to see more moves.
Well, in that case, I want to give this like a C.
Yeah,
I was going to say C plus.
I hate to be harsh on them, but I mean losing Danielle Hunter and Kirk Cousins to me, you get a C minus. I mean. You lost some pretty big pieces, and the replacements as of right now are not looking good. Just looking at their starting defensive tackle being Jerry Tillery just like makes me cringe.
Yeah, that
Uh,
does scare me.
I like the Aaron Jones move, but their O line is awful, and it's been awful for a while. And just to see them not really do anything reasonable there kind of is disappointing. Especially if you're going to be bringing in a rookie QB.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
But,
for me it's like a C minus.
so we got a C, a C minus, and a C plus. I think that's solid for them then. All right. So out of all these guys within the division, then which team do you think definitely did the most?
Yeah,
For you? I mean, should I even ask that question for this one?
Yeah, I was going to say.
one of these things is not like the other three.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the Bears are pretty good, but
I do. I mean,
Yeah.
if the Bears any other off season, like if the Lions didn't do what they did, I would love it. They would definitely win. But the Lions just blew me out of the water with their moves and value they pulled out of their ass. So
and
I love it.
if Caleb Williams is what everyone thinks he's going to be, then it's going to be pretty fun to watch the Bears and the Lions play,
Oh yeah,
and even the Packers.
and the Packers. Yeah,
it'd be a good division.
Vikings can hang out in the corner this year.
There's always one.
Well, I mean, if they really have a QB they think they have, I mean, in the draft, I mean, who knows? Things can turn around quickly.
Hey, that's very true. Look
Let's
at the
be
Bryce Young,
nice.
CJ Stroud thing. That is true.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But I definitely like the Lions in this situation, though.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, I guess that wraps things up here.
Finally done with free agency.
Yeah, how many hours?
Yeah, we're sorry, everybody.
if you're still with us, you guys are animals, and
Especially with this group, this has been the most, I think, flat group to talk about.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I this was all been fun though. I enjoyed it. We definitely appreciate everyone listening.
Yeah, absolutely.
Again, leave us a note, leave us a comment, tell us whether you agree or disagree, what your grades are.
Smash
yeah, God, I hate you.
Smash the shit out of that button. Smash it real hard.
Now, stereotypical outro. Thanks for listening.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Moosey.